The last round of Swiss of day one of YCS Birmingham. We have seen plenty of different decks so far, and we have seen plenty of Mermail as well, and the trend will continue because apparently this is the best rogue deck in the room right now.
It is indeed, and you know what? Manuel did not make it onto the featured match in Bologna, but he did make it into the top card. Was one of our two players with the Mermaid strategy, making it there, and he's still going strong with exactly that deck, and therefore is doing so good again, being 7-1 here. So Mermaid really his deck of choice, and he's one of those dedicated Mermaid players that just keeps on doing really well with it. And he goes first, but he will have to face that Fuvalas. And on the other side, we have the Memento deck, also making it all the way into top 4 in Bologna, of course, and still a viable deck to play here with the Fiendsmith cards.
The immediate Fuvalos is interesting to me, but normal summon Prince is of course a good start, and I think that, of course, Mermail players will have a plan what to do against a Fuvalos that has been resolved, and now he didn't even chain it to an effect that summons from deck or something that summons from the extra deck, so I think that Manuel has another way or more information to play around this card. Can you actually, without using your extra deck or your deck to summon, because many of these cards summon themselves from hand, can you go into Mullen Glacia and diminish the hand of Pasha?
I feel like there is a way, yeah. If you just get to enough Theos and potentially even a Megalo, I can definitely see them getting enough cards into the graveyard. I mean, also just giving one draw totally is not bad.
Yeah.
Ministrel, on the other end, also would get 2 cards on the same time into the graveyard as well, and therefore there is plenty of options, I think.
True, yeah.
And it's rather uncommon that you see the Fuvalos in the draw phase. You do see Perulia in the draw phase super often because you want to get value out of that Norman summon that usually players are starting with. But seeing Fuvalos in the draw phase is a little more unconventional. It's still pretty good though because it does, of course, play around triple tactic talents.
Yeah.
It does, on the other end, though, give perfect information to Manuel with it being resolved already. And there we see now Ministrel. Let's have a look together. What is Pasha cooking? Does Pasha even want to reveal his hand?
Check
he
this
does.
out.
Okay.
Oh, it's a droplet, which is going to be very information. Goblin and 2 Bone Party is not the strongest hand I've ever seen.
That's true.
So, I mean, Ministrel is not going to take anything of value here because it's just going to be returned later on in the turn. However, you know that Mullen Glacia is probably going to be very important here. If you... Okay, that is interesting because I thought if you go for Mullen Glacia, you want to hit the droplet.
To be honest, no. You prefer to hit the engine at this point, actually.
Yeah, maybe you do. That's true. Like, the less cards your opponent has, the less valuable is the droplet too, right? Because you do need cards to get rid of with the Memento and Bone Party. And Bone Party, of course, only really works if you have a monster to go alongside with it. And therefore, if you just get rid of then the one goblin that they have, it may become problematic. But here we go. This is some Supreme Darkness support hitting the field. We do have Poseidra, the Storming Atlantean, and that is a card that plays through Fuvalos very well too. But I think, yep, that is going to be the first Link summon, making it 5 water monsters in the graveyard after the monster that we summon here.
Click summon, it's the effect of Abyss Rain.
Oh, even better! Look at that. I think Pasha is just checking whether you can tribute monsters from the field with Abyss Rain, but of course you can. Reading it there real quick, that's his good right.
Reading both, actually. the card and the translation in Neuron. And this is looking good for Manuel. Has he already gotten the Mullen Glacia, or is he going to search that one now with Dragoons?
He may as well. Well, look, he's counting it out to his opponent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Just like back in the day with Dark-Arm Dragon.
Yep. Giving his opponent maybe a little bit of a hint there what card is going to be next.
Well, this is a full-on hand loop almost. We're down to 2 cards in hand. 1 card will get back there later, but still, I mean, the thing is, what do you set up though?
We do have the Rhine in the graveyard already, which is pretty good. Okay, we just go.
We have Glacia already?
Teos.
No, Dragoon will activate now.
Alright.
Abyss Rain can either a special summon or add 11/7.
Oh, but we do search infantry. Look at that. So maybe it is already there. Do we have the Mullen Glacia? We are going to see Manuel. Yep. Of course we do. Mullen Glacia saying, hey, I want to get rid of 2 cards in your hand. And let's see which ones are going to be going back into the deck here.
So Bone Party has a graveyard effect, but that one is not really that strong. It just gives one of the Memento monster piercing damage when it attacks.
Oh yeah, what am I saying? It's not going to the deck, but into the graveyard.
Yeah.
So...
And
the
it
goblin
is
gone too. I mean, it wasn't really even that important to hit the Goblin there, right?
Yeah.
Because Goblin on its own is also not that impressive.
Yeah, but I mean now Bone Party has not a valid target to be activated.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, the thing is, if you find one now, that could be potentially more problematic.
Yeah.
That because Bone Party is a really, really strong card, and then you have something to interact with the heavy infantry as well.
Oh my. There is infantry, there is, I think, toys, but we were just clarifying what we searched out there.
I think this might be a pass here, actually. We set up the pop with the infantry. Droplet gets back here. Droplet does nothing. Pasha has a chance here to get rid of the Mulling Glacier.
And I think it's Ash Blossom.
We definitely did draw a monster, and it is Ash Blossom and Joy Spring indeed.
This is so bad. Wait, but Bone Party can pop Ash Blossom, no?
No, only Memento monsters.
Yeah, Pasha sets the card, and Manuel knows that was a good turn that he did there, because Pasha not able to play the game at all anymore, and it is going back to Manuel, who still is, of course, going to use the effect here of his Abyss Rhine, discarding Shadow Squad, so he does not even have to give up on the infantry, drawing a card, Shadow Squad activating, and Pasha, yeah, he's nodding his head, but he knows the water, the flood is coming here. Okay, we're ashing the Shadow Squad, but sure, we already have so many things here. Very important, the Mulling Glacier stays on the field, meaning we do have our battle phase here as well.
Also, Toys is still in hand, and you can summon that by discarding infantry, which is not the best discard in this situation, but it is a discard, and you get to search a monster as well. And now we are already threatening. Oh, there is the Neptibus discard as well, and Neptibus also triggers when it is being sent to the graveyard for a card effect, as cost summons back Dragoons if you want to. This is the easiest way to go into Bahamut Shark, but we're scooping here on Pasha's side because he knows, hey, you know I have nothing, I know I have nothing, let's just go to game 2.
Honestly, I was skeptical about the Mermail deck in this format, with Abyss Dweller being so relevant, and also with Droll and Lockbird picking up more pace again due to the existence of Mitsurugi Raziel. But it really looks like it is the best performing rogue strategy that we have out there, because we have multiple people out there in the field doing really well. I mean, even in the feature match, you watching the stream throughout the day, I think this is the third Mermail deck we had today, right? They're really doing well.
Indeed, and as we saw, Manuel was very prepared for Fugalos. He knew exactly what to do and set up a Mulling Glacier to hit his opponent's hand.
Yeah, and the Fuvalos really did nothing. I mean, it stopped the turn from going completely crazy, because that's what Mermail does. If you open Neptibus, you just go through everything. We've had like additional info with the Minstrel, and I just really like how he played it. I mean, it does make sense that if your opponent has a poor hand with a little bit of engine, you use Mulling Glacier to get rid of the rest of the engine. So Minstrel takes off the Droplet for the moment, and then he just saw his opponent not being able to play. So very well played.
This is perfectly executed, honestly, and as I said, Manuel, he was in the top cut of Bologna, but there he went out pretty quickly, so he wants more this time around. He wants to go very deep, coming all the way from Austria here, representing the entirety of the Austrian community, and trying to make it happen this weekend again with the Mermail deck that he's so good at using with. I feel like with the Mermail deck, a lot of people, they just focus completely and solely on that deck, right? Because of course we had the success story of Julius Schwarzkopf. We now have Manuel here as well, performing very well with that deck, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see just both of them back into the top cut.
And Mermail is a deck that gets a lot of pressure to the opponent, since it took game 1, and now you know that even if you win game 2, you have a lot of pressure to get game 3.
Because the mechanics of the deck with the Deep Sea Minstrel as well, it's just so hard to side against it going second. It just feels like even if you could make a side deck just for Mermail decks, what are you going to side in? What doesn't lose to Minstrel? I guess you can go for a Droll and Lockbird, but even then, if a talent hits you and Mulling Glacier is maybe already searched, you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
That's a lot of ifs and whens. I think Droll and Lockbird on average is really good against the deck, but still not everybody is even running that card.
Sure,
And like the more usual, the more common interactions like Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, Baylor, Imprim, those are way less impressive against this deck for sure.
To stop the one-card combo, you actually need 2 hand traps. You need an Impermanence and you need an Ash Blossom. The Ash Blossom you need every single time.
Mermail at this point is mostly scared about Fugalos, Purulia, and of course Shifter.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Shifter is a good one, but I don't think Memento likes Shifter enough to also bring it into the side deck. And I mean, we have only talked about the water stuff here because we didn't see much of the Memento deck doing, but game number 2 probably going to be a whole different of a story, as the Memento deck will be able to go first, and me personally as a big Memento enjoyer is very thrilled for that. So let's go over to the table again. Game number 2 coming your way.
we're pretty much divided here at the caster's desk. We have one big Memento fan, and I think we have two big Mermail fans. After Alexander Hulch explained the combos to me, I'm just as excited about the Mermail deck as Mike is.
Of course, I really love Mermail.
So let's see what is going to happen here from Pasha's side. Is he going to find a way to go for a full combo? Because the last set, oh yeah, that's looking good.
That's a pretty good starter, not gonna lie. But guess what? If we just chain Perulia to it, it might be tough, but there is none like that. And we do have the good old Memento Tatsuno Chiyogo resolving. And that is going to mean we can send Memento monsters from the deck to the graveyard up to the total level of 5. And there we go. We're just going to go with a level 2 and a level 3, meaning Sleepy, and also, of course, the good or reliable Memento Getic, which we luckily did not draw this time, are going into the graveyard.
I mean, the last time we didn't draw Getic as well. We drew
Yeah,
Goblin.
true.
But still, there are quite some cards that you don't want to necessarily draw.
Yeah, and I think like the Getic somehow always finds its way into the hand. I can tell you from my personal experience. But here in this case, it is doing what it's supposed to do, special summoning itself out right away, and then also, of course, adding us back to Sleepy. And the important part here was we were not even scared of a Bestial, because we could do that while while we didn't even have a monster on the field. So that was a fantastic start. We do go now for the fusion with the Sleepy, using 3 of our monsters right away to go into the Creation King, the Memento Tekutlika. And this one now, of course, is going to send 3 Memento cards from deck or extra deck to the graveyard, meaning we can send another copy of itself, and also, of course, all the cards from the deck that we want. Okay, Akihiron, Tekutlika. Does not look like we're going into the extra deck here.
I mean, are there really any good extra deck targets that you want to send to the graveyard?
Itself. You can send itself, and that searches you with field spell, which ain't that bad.
Good, yeah.
But, I mean, you can also just get rid of the card on the field and then later on use its graveyard effect. But, yeah, we're just sending from the deck here, going with the main deck Tekutlika, with a Mace. Oh, and that means we have 3 different Memento monsters in the graveyard, giving us the opportunity and ability to summon out the good old and also very reliable Horned Dragon. And look at that. We know that stuff. Oh yeah, that's the wrong Horned Dragon, but he does definitely look the same. And we do go for Fiends with Requiem after summoning Moon of the Closed Heaven. And now that is going to mean Lacrima onto the field. So this is not just regular Memento. It does include a decently big Fiendsmith engine into it. And there we see the Engraver coming back.
I mean, the Fiendsmith engine, I think at this point it's just everyone's best friend, right? This engine just fixes so many problems for almost all of the rogue decks.
And
Or
also
the meta decks as well.
Caesar is a very good card against Mermail.
It is, and that is going to be the one we summon here. We summon it in defense position. I mean, it's more like a diagonal defense position there. But, yeah, very scared of cards like Lightning Storm, apparently. And now, the thing with Caesar, though, is just a singular Abyss Pike discard heavy infantry already deals with it, so...
But I mean, infantry is not like the most common draw.
True. Yeah, that's fair. All right, so we activate the field spell now. Okay, we search it out. There we see the Creation King being banished, getting it out. And now we, of course, have plenty of Memento monsters in the graveyard. And also, we did destroy a Memento monster on the field. Therefore, Memento Fusion gives us the chance to fusion summon using monsters from our graveyard, which we are gladly doing by using Mace and Golden, the 2 level 2s of the deck, to go into another one of the also famous Memento Twin Dragon. Leo, you want to bring up that old card again, or are we just going to stick with the new ones now?
Actually, this is referring to Thunder Twin Dragon, right?
Indeed it is.
A very cool card.
So we do use the on-field effect, destroying itself. So that is going to search for 2 Memento monsters now, but also the graveyard effect of the Twin Dragon is going to activate, giving us the chance to special summon back a Memento monster from the graveyard. And if we like, we can then use the effect of the field spell because something was destroyed. And if we ban like, Akihiron is also sitting in the graveyard, giving us the opportunity to summon something back with that as well. So if we want, we got 3 monsters here, just by resolving that 1 fusion effect.
All right, Pasha, I know you're getting all excited about those Memento cards, but what is the actual goal that the deck needs to reach?
I mean, we already have the King Caesar on the field, which is a good start, not gonna lie. Then, interestingly enough, with the Fiendsmith sequence, very often you're actually not going for the regular target, which would be Desiree, but you go for Berthamit, the mythical king of Phantom Beasts instead, which is a way then in the graveyard, which it is going to end up in at some point, to bring back the Mementodlian Tekutlika Creation King, which is banished currently, back to the field. So that gives you like different layers of interacting with your opponent. You could also go for a Nightmare Griffin line, but I don't think we're seeing that here from Pasha. We're rather setting up, bringing back the Creation King on your opponent's turn. But first of all, we do go here for the Angwitch. Angwitch adds another card.
But I mean, how do we go into sequence now?
Using a Light Fiend eventually, but yeah, I see what you mean, because there is no real Light Fiend at the moment anymore.
Do we go Moon?
We did go through Moon already,
But,
though.
I mean, yeah, true.
So maybe we disregard that option completely here. There's a chance. Okay,
At this point,
Pasha is thinking about it, but...
yes. Considering his options.
Yeah, but the cool thing about the Memento deck always was that it does a lot of things. As you can clearly tell, many monsters being summoned. And then still in the end, it's a very interactive end field. Oh, Proxy F Magician. Look at that. We're going to bring out the Birthomid. Okay, so we don't even use sequence for it. So this is the combo, which is also pretty fine. Now we're going to bring out the Goblin through the effect of Proxy. And there is... Okay, oh, we can just send Engraver to the graveyard. Fair enough, fair enough. Usually, at least what I did a lot, was that I would be bringing in Dire Bells from my side deck when I go first, because that's a really decent target to send to the graveyard with that card that we just saw with the Birthomid. But no, we just go into the sequence now afterwards. So we do want to have the Birthomid in the graveyard, but also the other fusion target, the Desiree, now on the field.
This just makes it a lot better.
Yeah,
I like this.
I really love the fact that Pasha goes all through with his combo and showcases such a nice combo.
Yeah, it's a really cool combo.
I really
strong
thought
field.
That we go into Agnum Day now as well.
As a true Memento enjoyer, though, one thing I'm missing here is, where is my SP? Because usually SP Little Knight is the card you're going for. Like, some people are even joking about Memento basically being a machine that turns 2 monsters into SP pass, but no, I mean, we're not seeing it here.
Basti, I was gonna ask, where are the Memento cards? Because this just looks like a very regular Fiendsmith field.
Yeah, we can set back the Bone Party in the end phase, though, with the field spell, so that gives us the chance to, for example, go into another one of our Fiendsmith, of our Memento monsters in the end phase. But we can also, of course, use the... Oh! Wait, we're destroying our own Desiree there, are we?
We're just not stopping on Pasha's side.
He's searching?
Pasha just has plans here.
Yeah, but we just made our field to now start...
I think
taking it apart again.
is in the grave, right?
Yeah, Lacrima. Okay, oh yeah, true. Very good catch, actually. The Lacrima actually is really, really good in the graveyard, as it gives us a chance to then just bring out the Agnum Day on our opponent's turn, and then everything starts rolling again. So it actually makes sense to get rid of it there.
And also, fun fact, both decks want 5 names in the graveyard.
Yeah, true. Yeah, indeed. Mulan Glacier and the combined creation similar in that regard. Now we go ahead, destroy the Horned Dragon for the Bone Party.
At this point, I don't even know if Pasha just has a goal anymore, but if he just wants to play a little bit more. He just wants to show off every single card that
he knows what he's doing.
I'm very well aware. I'm very sure he does know what
Yeah, he has a Lacrima in his grave.
Yeah.
All right, now Sleepy. I don't think the Sleepy matters too much, but it does. Oh, okay, we're just bringing out more and more monsters. I think we're filling the graveyard just simply with more Memento cards. Good thing, of course, about the combined creation that's still there on the field, or was on the field there a minute ago. Oh, there's the SP Little Knight, of course! I was wondering where it is, and we do get it. And therefore, one thing that people are disregarding, the combined creation can be summoned as many times as you can. And sometimes, or like usually actually, you struggle to do it 2 times. Of course, that means you have to shuffle back 5 Memento monsters from the graveyard twice, in total being 10 of them. But Pasha showed us how easily that is possible. Therefore, we still end up with it on the field. Now heading into the end phase, setting back the Bone Party and passing it over to Manuel.
Combined creation very easily on the opponent's turn summons out your Memento monsters, which can get you the Horned Dragon as well, which is going to be able to pop monsters from the opposing side.
Yes. The only question, though, is to me here, we shuffled back 5 there. Is there even another Memento monster in the graveyard? Look, oh, Manuel's having a look.
There's the Horned Dragon.
Okay, the Horned Dragon is still there. So we shuffled everything but the Horned Dragon back, which is nice, because the Horned Dragon, especially together with the Bone Party that now is set, is a really good interruption, actually. And so whenever Manuel is activating a card on the resolution of things, the combined creation can activate and bring back the Horned Dragon.
This is so many resources as well there. Going to bring back the Desiree later. Has the Baphomet. Oh, this is just everything.
Yeah, it's really, really good, not gonna lie.
This is the fullest combo, the most complete Memento combo I've ever seen in my entire life.
Look,
Indeed.
Pasha even takes off the hood after performing that combo, so he is he's showing off now, not only on the field, but also in the face cam. But there is the Infinite Impermanence on the Caesar, which does trade really, really well with it right away.
It is a good start and also a sign of patience from Manuel to show, hey, I don't throw my hand traps just easily at everything. I am just going to wait and use these to break the field, because this is what Mermail was known for before Neptubus was released. Basically, it was almost a going second deck where you set up powerful one-turn win combinations of cards. Abyss Megalo, of course, the most prominent example of being able to attack twice.
Oh, but Manuel is shaking his head. Okay, he's activating Minister, discarding Dragoons. That's not that bad of a start, honestly. Also interesting to note that Pasha decided not to use the effect of his... Oh, okay, now he's using it, though.
All right.
Wait, that... We're banishing the mace from the hands. Which effect are we using here?
Minstrel.
Oh, okay, they just resolved the Ministry. Okay, yeah, I was wondering, because you cannot chain the creation, but it will be activating on the new chain. So I think Pasha was just a little too quick by pointing on his creation there, but it will be activating after the Ministerial is resolved, which now is the case. But I think now we're going to go chainlink 1 Dragoons and then chainlink 2 possibly that creation.
But this is still, I mean, Manuel has quite some plays here, but this is going to be so tough to play through, because this is what we call layered interruptions as well. There is the SP on the field. There is going to be the Horned Dragon that is in the graveyard sitting there, going to be able to destroy cards later on in the turn. There's the Baphomet in the graveyard that is going to summon out. Yeah, and Lacrima, of course, to summon Agnum Day, to summon out the Desiree, to negate multiple cards. Now, Abyss Shrine is going to be activated, discarding the Shadow Squad. This is very, very strong, though. But, I mean, we haven't normal summoned yet. Manuel might still be in this.
Yeah, and I mean, Manuel does not give up yet. I think Manuel knows this deck perfectly well. He made top cut with it in Bologna, so I believe he would know when he has to give up on a game, but he has not given up on this game just yet. So, now look at that. Also noteworthy, a card that Memento players do like to bring in post-side decking is the trap card. But we do not see the Fracture Dance, nor we see the other trap cards, so Pasha just going completely without those trap cards in his Memento deck. So, Shadow Squad. I think we're just clarifying on Shade Links here.
Poseidra is a card that is incredibly strong to play through fields. Nice addition from the newest set, because you can actually send a card from the deck as cost to the graveyard, which is super powerful for the Mermail and Atlantean strategies. And then you get a bounce for it. So this is just basically just positive.
Yeah,
it's
it is.
absolutely positive. Helps you fix some issues that the deck had recently. That was this being a going first bot deck, basically. Just having issues to play through fields without the perfect breaker cards in hand. But now the engine is going to be much better.
It is indeed. So we do send the Dragoon to the graveyard now on a new chain. Finally, Pasha gets the allowance to activate his effect on the field, to activate his, of course, creation. And it is going to bring back the Horned Dragon as we anticipated. But after that, it's gone. Back to the hand it is. And now that makes things actually a lot tougher, because that means now if we use the Bone Party on the Horned Dragon, okay, we're bringing out another Memento monster for that, because I was about to say there is no Memento monster we can destroy anymore with the Horned Dragon, but then there is going to be one replacing it, so I think Pasha should still be fine with this.
Yep, there's also still so many other things to happen. We said it earlier, Baphomet, the SP Little Knight, and of course Agnum Day summoned out from Lacrima.
Okay, having a little read again on the Poseidra. One of the new important releases in Supreme Darkness, supporting the Mermail strategy. And yeah, I expected this deck to be picking up more pace even. It was very paceful before, but it has even more pace now. But it's putting in more work than I even expected it, because Mermail is going super, super strong. Look at that. Pasha's hood is back on. He's scared. And he activates the Bone Party here, and it's successfully going to destroy the Horned Dragon here.
And hood is back off.
Goes for a Sleepy. The Horned Dragon is going to pop 2 monsters. Manuel possibly waiting that, searched out with the Dragoons another Neptibus already, because he knew I did not normal summon yet. So Manuel is picking apart the field. Yeah, he's taking out some interruptions, but there's still so much to go through for Pasha.
Yep, Sleepy activated because it was destroyed, and therefore it could send another card from a deck to the graveyard, which turned out to be the Gaddick. Gaddick immediately summoned itself out and got the Sleepy back into the hand. And now Sleepy used its graveyard effect, but guess what? Sleepy is a quick effect, meaning we could special summon it out now at any time in the main phase on our opponent's turn, and then on its summon, fusion summon with it. So that's another bit of interaction that Pasha has just created there.
Yep, so this deck is just not stopping to put up interruptions on the opposing turn. That we're using the Baphomet Combined King, and we are picking up the cards. Manuel says, all right, this was enough. I don't need to see anymore. This is your game, Pasha. We can both combo pretty well.
Yep. The hood taking off and taking back on has worked out for Pasha. He has equaled the score, and both decks were now able to show what they are supposed to do. Yeah. Honestly, Manuel in the first game, a little weirdly for the Mermaid deck, not even doing that much, but it worked so well under the Fuvalos, of course. And now here, Memento, just pure gas, no stoppage from Manuel at all, just going all in, just putting all the different layers up there. Honestly, is there any deck in the game that can take apart that field? It's really tough, isn't it?
To be honest, it was by far the best Memento combo I have ever seen.
Yeah,
it was
true.
He's X1 for a reason, yeah. He is doing really, really well.
The strongest field I have ever seen from Memento.
Yeah,
it's extremely impressive. I was thinking about any field-breaking cards that could take it out, but even if your opponent goes for an evenly play, you can just go Lacrima effect, summon out Agnum Day, and summon the Desiree when battle phase is entered.
Yep, and even if the evenly somehow resolves, you still have Baphomet to then bring back the Creation King from the Banish Zone.
And your opponent doesn't have the battle phase anymore. You have chained SP, of course, with another card.
And to be honest, Memrail needs their battle phase.
Absolutely, yeah.
Very, very much.
But
so
I mean,
this looked impressive.
Going first, it doesn't need the battle phase. In fact, going first, you don't have a battle phase. And this is what's going to happen now. Mermail, the scary going first deck here, is going to start game 3 just in the last round of Swiss, of YCS Birmingham here. And this is not the situation you want to be in as Pasha. You want to win game 1. You want to be able to start later on, pull off this magnificent, impressive combo.
And now the question is, how well is Pasha prepared for Mermail? Because we see it's having really decent success here, but I'm a bit surprised by it, and I think a lot of players in the field are also a bit surprised by it, meaning they probably did not properly prepare for it. They are prepared for Malice, of course, with all the Lancias, with the Meows, and so on and so forth. But how well are they prepared for Mermail is a different question.
The only sad thing is that Fugalos, Purulia, they are both good against Mermail.
True.
And also some players may have chosen Troll and Lockbird against Mitsurugi and Pure Isil.
That's true.
So they are also cards considered post-side deck.
Yeah, but what about Meowls? How good is Meowls versus Mermail? And I think not so good.
Not that great, no.
Not that great.
But I mean, can you give us some insights on the side deck there, Basti? Because
I can. So I was actively already talking about the Malice matchup, and Pasha went overboard, to be honest, with the Malice matchup, because there's Lancias, there's Chaos Hunters, and there's Meows. He's just like going completely crazy on it.
We've discussed this earlier. Lancea is a card that you would consider siding in against the Mermail deck, because Ministrel, you're just not allowed to play with your hand traps if your opponent starts going off with Ministrel. So
that's true.
I think investing a Lancea 1 card in hand into this, I think that makes it better, because with only 1 hand trap, you're not going to stop Mermail.
The problem with that, though, is I think that strategy makes sense if you have additional hand interactions to back it up. But Memento is not really known to be a deck that plays that many of them, because we saw the Forbidden Droplet. Yeah. It's more of a breaking deck. It plays Talons and so on and so forth. So I think you only bring in Lancea if you can secure having more hand interactions resolving.
At this point, you just hope for Fuvalos.
Yeah,
I think that's very important. Or, of course, what can always happen is that there might be a brick here on the side of Manuel, because this can always happen to you. Has this ever happened to you, that you just opens completely unplayable? I don't even know what this deck needs to be unplayable, but we're maybe going to see, maybe not. We're going into game 3 of the last round of Swiss. Last round of Swiss today.
Indeed, and Mermail are probably going first, and I'm really worried if he's going to break. Because
I jinxed it.
I felt your bad energy.
No way. Manuel knows his stuff. He knows his way around breaking, but oh, that's a little bit of a smirk on Manuel's face. He does not look happy.
No.
Leo, you really did that to Manuel?
I'm sorry.
There's no way. Come on, Manuel. Show us what you got.
Is he just passing, or is he just going to normal summon Neptibus now, like a Mermail Pro? Meowth is being activated.
Okay.
Right.
We were debating about this card being good or not, but it has found its way into the main deck of Pasha.
There are some summons from the graveyard.
Yeah, Prince.
Yeah.
Oh, Manuel does not like what he sees.
The King Neptibus. Corral Anemone.
Anemone, yes.
True, yeah.
Yeah, there are some draws with this card, I can see that, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, Pasha just doesn't have that much against the deck in general, so he just may as well bring in the one option that does make sense.
Toys.
Okay, we have to discard Poseidra, making Meowth apparently a little bit more viable because that card would need to special summon itself out from the graveyard, of course. All right, but we do get the result of the Teoseer. What are we going to get? Manuel is contemplating. He really, either he's very good at acting or he's really unhappy about his hand here. Because look at that, he just keeps on looking into his cards in hand and he just is shaking his head. If he's full comboing now, he really is the best actor out here.
He doesn't really have a poker face here in this situation, I gotta be honest, on this.
I think the problem might be that he really literally loses to one hand up. If
Possibly, yeah.
I can understand correctly from the way that he's comboing.
So Ryan is being activated here, sending the toys from the field or distributing it. We go into the super deep sea king Quellicant.
Oh, fish players, of course, know this card. I'm playing this card in Time Wizard 2010, but it's also, of course, a big part of this Mermail deck here. And its effect is so strong as now, for the price of one card in hand, we'll be able to special summon as many fish monsters from the deck as possible.
You sold this quite nicely, Basti, but this card, yes, you might lose to one hand trap if you play this card. If your opponent doesn't have one hand trap, looks like you are in a decent spot there. Discard the triple tactic talons. Meowth did a good job of
it does resolve. Look
this.
at that. That's so strong.
Big. And now he's not shaking his head anymore, huh?
Yep. One pike, two pike. How about three pike? We have a pike party, and all of them are coming to the field through the Quellicant. The whole fish family reunited on the field here.
The pike party.
Yeah.
I like this. It's opposed to the bone party.
Yeah, exactly. Different approaches to the party theme here. But I think both of them equally nice. I would attend both, to be honest.
but where are we going from this? So I think Bahamut Shark into Totally Awesome is a very decent choice here. Always. You want to avoid giving off multiple Meowth's draws. So afterwards, I think you would just link into a Corral Anemone with probably the Quellicant and the Bahamut Shark that you used. And then you would summon back another pike, and you could go for another Bahamut Shark, summon out two Totally Awesome. That would give one draw, though?
I don't think that...
we can go into Abyss Dweller as well, though. And I mean, actually, Manuel has a plenitude of different rank 4 options, because we had Sharks earlier. Guess what? Manuel is a big enjoyer of the number 4 Stealth Kraken as well, which usually is only played in those Shark decks, but that could have been an option here as well. And I feel like Manuel is just going for 0 draws of the Meowths, because this is Mermail Abyss Alacia, which he's summoning out here. And he's explaining it to his opponent. And I think that's like a decent-ish interaction on your opponent's turn, as far as I'm aware.
Basically, you want to synergize it with...
infantry.
Yeah, infantry. So you can have a pop in your opponent's turn.
Yeah, explain what it does again.
It just discards a water monster for cost, and then you search for a Mermail card from your deck to your hand. If you don't have an infantry for discard, the card gets, of course, less interactive with your opponent, but builds up more resources. But I think this is also a very solid choice here if you go for Abyss Dweller to buy a turn, basically, quote-unquote.
Right.
You want to build up more resources, so I like this play a lot.
And actually, he still has the Abyss Shrine in the graveyard, so he can search Mermail, then trigger Abyss Shrine in order to trigger the Mermail that he already added.
That is true, and it's very important that Abysslesia is discarding for a cost. So even a potential Forbidden Droplet would not stop that part about it, but the Forbidden Droplet could deal with the Abyss Dweller, of course. So let's see, is there a Forbidden Droplet for Pasha? And how is he going to start off? Because this field is, for Mermail standards, rather minimalistic, let's face it.
So Manuel has not announced the Abyss Dweller yet, which I find quite interesting. Is there a way for him to resolve it in a safer manner, or is he just trying to respond to something with the Abyss Dweller? I mean, if your opponent only has triple tactic cards in his hand, then you don't want to just activate Dweller.
I mean, then you just activate it in the draw phase, right?
I mean, Thrust is still a good
Oh,
card
yeah,
then.
true. Very much.
To be
Ooh, starting with Bone Party is not necessarily what you want to start with, because usually you... Oh, and we revealed... Oh, we all saw it. Sorry, Pasha, but I think Manuel saw that one as well. Giving away the information that there is a Fabled Lurry in hand.
I think through the Bone Party you would always chain Dweller, no?
And to be honest, I think that Manuel plays with the logic that Pasha doesn't have talent in his deck, because talent and Thrust are not very good against Mermail going second. So probably Pasha has sided out.
I mean, they're better than nothing.
Yeah,
So I think that's the thing. I would leave them in the deck if I...
just in case.
Yeah, just in case. If I don't find anything better to side in.
I mean, we even brought in Mulcharmy Meowls, which I definitely can get behind the logic of Mike saying, hey, Meowls is probably better than just the talent, which is never going to break the field because it's not going to be in my hand anymore after Mulling Dacia resolving. But we do see Akihiron being destroyed off of the Bone Party. Another card you do not necessarily want to see in your opening hand, but still we're getting it out of there with the Bone Party. And now in the graveyard, it's much more useful again. So Pasha starts going. Not much use though when the Abyss Dweller is resolved on it though.
I'm gonna tell you something. I think I saw something in the hand of Pasha and it looked like a triple tactics talent.
There you go. You knew it all the way, Leo. Did we activated the Dweller at this point, didn't we?
Yeah, and we changed it to the Bone Party, so I think it might have been in the main phase, because what would be the reason for Pasha not to just go into the main phase?
Agreed.
Especially with the talent.
Yeah,
in his hand.
exactly. So I think this might be bad news for Manuel soon. But can Pasha under Dweller win the game this turn? That's a whole different question, because if Manuel is able to build up some resources and Pasha might not be able to build up the biggest field, this could still be a nice... Ah, we're shaking our head again on the Manuel side as well.
That's true. And I mean, one thing also very worth considering here is we're going towards 9 minutes being left on the clock, which is not a whole lot. So this turn, possibly, potentially, the last turn of the game even. So maybe Pasha's priority also has to be here to deal some damage, which is not even that hard over that Abysslesia, which is only 1,600 attack points, to be honest.
Yeah, but Dweller is on the field that gives the attack boost.
True.
That is true.
Very true, true. It's not only... Yeah, true. It goes up to 2,100. Ash Blossom and Joyce bring now, though, on the Dark Blade.
The thing is, you can ignore the attack boost from Dweller by taking it.
With what card?
With triple tactics talents?
Oh,
Does that sound familiar?
We'll have to see. Is Pasha going to do that? He's considering his options once more, going through his extra deck.
I mean, 9 minutes is basically half a Memento combo, unless you're under Dweller. Then I think it's going to be a little bit faster.
Oh, we do have Tatanu Shogo. That's so good. Just getting another monster onto the field. But now Manuel may be considering doing what we were thinking of, going for the Abysslesia and then also somehow getting his hands onto the heavy infantry.
But I think that Abysslesia only searches for a Mermaid card.
Indeed.
And heavy infantry is not that.
That's true. It's an Atlantean.
The question is, can you do something with Shadow Squad? Because I think Shadow Squad is always treated as a Mermaid card.
Yeah, it's like Abyss Shrine that it's an Atlantean and it's treated as a Mermaid card also.
We have not even normal summoned yet, so Fabled Lurry is the normal summon of choice here, going into Fiendsmith Requiem.
Yep, you don't need the graveyard effect of Engraver to send a card from the field to the graveyard. That can be done by summoning it out with the Requiem. However, you cannot
Then the Requiem is not really being...
never mind.
We just go Lacrima, okay.
Yeah, I mean, if that effect doesn't work anyway, so what's the point? So Lacrima sends the Engraver. Good follow-up for next turn. Another body on the field.
And to be honest here, Chaos Angel might be a very good option, since Mermail doesn't run a lot of spells.
Yeah.
And of course are way less traps. So if Chaos Angel is someone on the field, I don't know how Mermail can, get over it.
Yeah, very true. So Pasha, he definitely has to consider his extra deck here, but what is the one we are going to go for? It looks like a Link 2 to me. What would that be? Just
I think
going
it's
into
gonna
SP
be
Little Knight?
Ryziel dual drive.
I don't think so.
That would be a nice plot twist here. But no, we go into sequence, and of course you can fusion summon with sequence with the materials in the graveyard, because this is not an effect that is activated in the graveyard, or that you would attempt to activate in the graveyard.
Now Manuel is forced to think about that, because you do not want to have that sequence resolving on you there.
I find that quite interesting that Pasha is deciding to just keep Talons as the last surprise factor ever, instead of just either looking at the hand. Oh,
okay, now we go.
Activated. Talons is being discarded. An eye for an eye, Talons for Talons. At this point, going to search out a Mermail card. Now, are we going to see something like a Shadow Squad, or is there a card that makes more sense? I think if you're going to try and get a draw here, the Abyss Shrine makes more sense.
It is the Shadow Squad.
But I mean, at this point, I think you're in a decent position. Wait. Neptabis is not an on-summon effect, so it is an ignition effect that you would have to activate on your turn. Can you somehow get an infantry pop here before the sequence resolves? Somehow, by any chance?
We're about to see. Maybe Manuel is going to show us any second, because he truly is the master of the Mermail deck this weekend.
Is Poseidra a quick effect?
I was also thinking about that. I'm pretty sure it is. Or is it just... I think there is something about Poseidra. Someone explained it to me. He does play 2 Poseidra. Yeah, he does.
Oh, if this card is normal or special summon. Oh, wow! If he activates the Rhine, he can get the draw there, get out the Poseidra, and of course, then send infantry and bounce a card. So that is pretty strong here.
I think that is what Manuel is thinking about. But no, I think Pasha just announced the effect of sequence, though. Yeah, very much.
Maybe it also doesn't work.
All right, we do go for 1, 2. And probably 3, right? You got to go Desiree here. What else are you going to go for?
I mean, a good option for Pasha would have also been... Is this a once per turn effect? Yeah, okay, all right. It's not hard once per turn on the name, so if this card is a once per turn effect, you can't take it with Talents and activate Dweller.
Oh, we only use 2. What are we going to go into here? Is it just...
Aerial Eater.
Oh, haven't seen Aerial Eater in a while. This card was so popular when Jubel was the best deck, but now it is going to be used here for Memento. We're sending one to the graveyard.
Yep, and it's going to be a Fiendsmith Engraver. It's looking tough for Manuel. The time is ticking down, 4 minutes and about 20 seconds.
Pasha also has the triple Taxis talent in his hand.
Yeah, he just refuses to use it.
Yeah, maybe we just gotta go ahead, take something eventually. Oh, maybe. Still not.
At this point, if you want to deal some damage, you gotta get into the battle phase at some point. Talents is being activated. So what is the play now? Are you going to take the Leisha? Are you going to take the Dweller? Or are you going to try and look into the hand? Because you know what's in the hand, and there is Abyss Rhine in the graveyard.
I think Pasha had plenty of time to think about it, but he has just decided on the taking, and he is going to take the Abyss Alacia. I think none of those monsters are at the moment big enough to attack over Dweller, though, right?
Yeah. And I also like that he didn't negate the sequence or bounce the sequence, because you can always just bounce Desiree. There is no way of attaching something to the Desiree at this point. So, oh, what are we going to do here? Appaloosa would have been strong.
But no, we just go for Agnum Day. Agnum Day can technically just bring back the Engraver, and then Engraver could activate its effect, because there is then finally something being equipped to it, and there we have it in the Spell and Trap Zone, Agnum Day.
I think at which point do you use Rhine, or is it impossible to use Rhine here? Is there a reason why we haven't done it yet, or why we are we waiting for the Poseidon? Are we waiting for a big push here? Dweller is still there.
Just confirming that, just for the moment, saying, yeah, Dweller is here.
Still looking good. Actually, let me get Abyss Rhine up. Now I'm doubting everything right now.
But I think Manuel is definitely signalizing that he's thinking about things, so definitely there is something that Manuel can do, but he just is not sure on when to do it, but it has to be the Abyss Rhine here. Is now the time.
A bounce and a pop.
Still not though. No, we just got battle phase. Attacking over the Abyss Dweller, dealing the first damage of this game, number 3. Wow. Less than 3 minutes remaining on the clock. Pasha takes the lead.
That is absolutely huge. Is there anything that it just takes all of the damage? He just takes the damage.
He does. Okay, main phase number 2 shortly after, I would assume. Just figuring out the total damage that was dealt here. Okay, no, we go for the Abyss Rhine now. And Manuel, you see it. He's quickly moving now. He knows he has to be a little quicker. Draws a card, activates the Shadow Squad. It's getting urgent here. He needs to get things moving soon. And he sees the clock ticking down.
Did he side out the second Poseidra? Is that maybe what happened?
Going first, I don't think so.
Yeah, we see it.
Oh, wow, yes.
Just
That's
the
definitely what
Prince.
happened. So he is going to summon out the Neptibus, possibly at the end of the turn. Has 1 minute and 25 seconds here to play this out, to get some damage on the field. He's going to be super uninterrupted here, unless there is a chance to make SP here as well. Or did this happen in the end phase?
So, Pasha, we definitely, yeah, I think we just go SP, banish the Prince, and then that's going to be the turn. Have we did not even activate the effect of Engraver, right? We just didn't.
No.
Yeah, okay, so that could have been a nice way of dealing with the Prince without any trouble.
Right, we're going into...
Oh, Necro Equip, okay. I mean, yeah, we
right.
could have not done that if we would have gone for the effect of Engraver, of course. Linking up these two, going to the SP Little Knight finally. Little Knight effect gets rid of the Prince. We see Manuel down very heavily on life points, but it is about to be his turn. He already is picking up that one card. We have to go Turbo Mode now. Manuel knows. Can he somehow do this in 30 seconds? This would be crazy quick.
Lacrima is being activated as well. Summons out back the Agnum Day, probably. We're playing Paradise here.
Yep.
Agnum Day is just sitting there building up a bigger defense as well. SP Little Knight is going to be negated with the Infinite Impermanence. You could banish it, but you won't choose to. Putting up a dice on there as well. Don't do it. Neptibus
second Prince
as well.
Ooh, this could be enough. I think if there would only be more time, Manuel could easily get away with this.
Oh, the Dragoons is being sent to the graveyard. Now we're trying on. There is a Poseidra, actually. So Poseidra not being used in the last turn. Shadow Squad is being searched for as well. Poseidra now activating itself. Special summoning itself out. Shadow Squad discarded. When is time being called? Tributing the Neptibus. This is getting incredibly close here. I think time should have been called by now, but we don't know if there was anything.
Is there
added
any
to it.
time extension, maybe?
Might be.
We are going to check. I have just been asked. I've been asking that. Okay, there is no time extension, meaning we can confirm that there is timeout announced now. But maybe Manuel, possibly by support from his side deck, does have an option to deal damage here or gain life points or something.
5,000
We will
damage?
be finding out. Yeah, sure. Why not? Why are you doubting him? I thought you were a Mermaid enjoyer.
I mean, I really hope that he can pull through this.
Yep, there could be the craziest combo ever. I mean, he's really speeding through this now, which is... I mean, if time is called, then there is really no need to completely hurry about this. But, yeah, Manuel is considering his options there.
Did we just draw for Necro Princess there, or what happened?
Yeah, because we
Must have been, right?
discarded the Shadow Squad.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, so very valid point to summon out the Necroquip in defense position as well. Well played by Pasha on that side. Check out the graveyard as well. Now we've slowed down the pace significantly on Manuel's side.
I mean, since time now is not an issue.
Yeah.
Okay, Manuel, show us the technology of gaining 5,000 life points here. We all want to
that's
see
also
it.
possible, yeah.
But I don't think it is there. He's going for his graveyard, checking his options. But there is the handshake. Pasha and Memento Fiendsmith is taking it and is going into day 2 with an X1 record, which is massively good with that kind of a deck, because it's not one of the decks you have on the radar necessarily. Sure, it wasn't top 4 of YCS Bologna, but now with the format changing, Ryziel, Malice, and then also, of course, now Supreme Darkness doing more things. It wasn't necessarily expected that much anymore. For example, last weekend, Orlando, how many Memento decks made it into Top Cut? 0.
I think none, yes.
No.
So quite surprising to see it going that well here today again.
How many Mermaid decks made it into Top Cut?
2. So
yes.
comparing the numbers, Mermaid more likely to make it. But I think I said that in the beginning of the day. Here in Europe, things do go a little bit differently, right? We do have people just going with their a little bit more unconventional decks. I think we have a lot of great deck builders out here that try to go out of the box, try to avoid the more meta strategies and like to go with something more creative. And that's what I love about our competition here, honestly.
I mean, Memento is the black sheep of the last month, right? Meaning that it overperforms during the live stream.
Yeah, the Black Sheep as well. Such a strong deck sometimes. We have seen the biggest Memento combo ever in this featured match in Game 2. It was crazy. It took really, really long, but there was so much happening. Layered interruptions is the key there to win that game against Mermail. And I mean, Manuel really did a lot to try and play through that field, but it wasn't even close to enough. Game 1 was a very, very chill game on both sides. The Fuvalos just not really stopped the turn, but Mulling Glacia plus Ministrel just set out basically the Fuvalos before we actually went on and tried to win that game. So this was a nice showing of Mermail as well, I feel like, because if time wasn't an issue in the last game, I think that Mermail was really, really close to finishing that game on that turn or set up something huge potentially there.
Yeah, I feel like people are giving Mermail less credit than it deserves because a lot of people are just looking at the deck as kind of a glass cannon deck, going first, just performing that big combo, getting rid of cards in the hand of the opponent, and that's just basically it. But no, it does have a lot more grinding potential. It does have the ability to just come back on turn 3, turn 4, and just still take it by storm. Then, still very quickly there, but it does have the chance to just go over multiple turns.
And of course, Manuel showcased during the live stream how you can play with Mermail against Fuvalos.
For example,
very important.
Don't play. That was basically the play was to not really play. Also, such a funny technology to Ministrel the card that you don't want to discard with Mulling Glacia. Also, knowing that it was Droplet, already having drafted the plan that you won't set up a monster on the field that needs to be negated, so Droplet is going to be effectively useless on Pasha's turn, and then saying, hey, I'm going to discard everything else. You can have your Droplet, I don't care for it. I have Abyss Rhine in the graveyard set up with the infantry. Really well played.
Yeah, I think Manuel did have a great showing. The only thing he has to work on is definitely his poker face, because Game 3, his opponent, the crowd, everyone at home, we knew his hand can't be that good, to be honest, because he was like shaking his head consistently there. So maybe just work on that a little more. But I guess being on the stage, it all changes a little bit, and I think emotions do get you there even easier than out there on the playing field.
Yeah, also maybe you want to play a little bit for the camera. This is the first thing I would have done, actually.
True.
And also, Pasha needs to work on his poker hoodie. We could tell when he had a good hand or not from the hoodie.
Oh, this looks like it's pressuring me. Oh, it's not. Oh, maybe every single card that he saw was a change of mood there.
Leo, have you ever been a player that uses his hoodie? Because some players are very famous for that. You go through the rows and they will always be hoodie on because that makes them think better. And I totally get behind that logic, but I've never been like that myself.
So the thing is,
I'm here to blame. When I used to play, I always wear a hoodie because I felt like I'm in the zone.
Yeah. So it narrows down your sight if you're having like a big hood. And for some people, it's very easy, for me exactly the same, to get distracted by the players on your left side and on your right side. Maybe the player on the right side is pulling off the most insane combo ever, and you're like, wow, that is so great. Oh, I lost. And that won't happen to you if you're completely locked in and focused on your own gameplay. And that is one of those little tools that you can use to help yourself focus.
That is true, yeah.
It's like it just shut down everything near you.
Yeah, I like it, definitely. I've never been like that myself because I do want to talk to the... I will get distracted and I want to be interactive with everyone around me and especially with my opponents. I think you're kind of zoned out for yourself, which is a positive thing when you want to be concentrated, but it feels like you are like zoning out of interacting with your opponent a little bit, right? Because you're just in the hood.
But you're looking at your opponent.
Yeah, that's fair.
You're going to see the opponent.
Yeah, that's true.
And get expressions.
Yeah, true. Yep. That's fair. I understand. But yeah, that still was in the end Fiendsmith Memento taking the victory. And let's break it down. This was round number 9, meaning we still have 3 more rounds to go through tomorrow until Top Cut. Already going into day 2 now with a record of 8-1, meaning they can, out of the 3 remaining rounds, allow themselves to definitely have at least 1 loss, because X2 is, with that kind of a start into the tournament, almost guaranteed to make it to Top Cut. Possibly even able to allow himself a draw as well. So things are looking great for Pasha, to be honest.
So you get your Memento top, maybe. I mean, this is like the top-notch duelists,
Maybe a win also.
True, the first Memento win. But the thing is that all of those duelists that make it to day 2, especially the ones that are X1, XO right now, they are not easy opponents. So if you think to yourself, hey, easy, just 1 win and a draw tomorrow and I'm good in 3 rounds, it's not going to be a piece of cake.
That is true. So we've had plenty of surprises throughout today, right? Many decks we didn't expect. Sharks definitely was very high up on my list, to be honest. And then many others in general, very much water themed. Crystron, Sharks, Mermail. The water decks are apparently
everything that's not light and dark, basically.
yeah,
Indeed.
exactly.
Why is that?
Yeah, I don't know either, but like, what do we expect from tomorrow? After having all of those interesting decks today, do we think we can convert it into tomorrow? Are we going to still have those in the field? Are we still going to have those when it gets closer to the top cut? Or is it going to be more Malice, Ryziel orientated then?
I mean, the thing is that we deliberately choose the decks that are not the top meta contenders to show off what you can play in those tournaments and be successful with. Those other decks that are not played by everyone in the tournament. I think it's still going to be very Ryziel and Malice dominated.
However, Mermail are showing a very good face right now at the tournament, and I really believe that they can go all the way.
Yeah. Water decks, basically. What other water decks are there? Mitsu, the insect ninja, as a water? Is it?
I don't even know. It's a Mitsu.
Did I make that up?
Probably, yeah. You probably made that up.
Umi, we need Umi.
Wait. Yeah, we could go for Umi, but also there is another water deck you really like a lot.
Another water deck I really like a lot.
Yeah.
It's not Salomon Grade.
Not necessarily.
Token is also water.
Sorry?
Sorcerer's Token is also water.
That's the one you like.
What do I like that's water?
How about? Are you going to figure it out?
Shizuku.
Gladiator Beast Retiari is water.
Okay, I'll accept
Mermello
it.
as well.
Shizuku.
Shizuku is water. Yeah.
I was bluffing, honestly, to be honest.
Okay, all right. Because we've been through all the water decks I love so far.
Maybe someone at home knows another water deck.
All right, so pitch us your best water decks that can still contend. I'm going with Umi here, but I think that we are going to be ready to go into the analyst corner.
Okay, so I'm here with Pasha, who just played Memento during a tough game. That was such a tough game for the last round of the day. Pasha, first of all, congratulations for this game. It was a hard one. How do you feel?
Stressed. So stressed. Like,
It doesn't look like you're stressed, but...
I'm trying to play it cool for the cameras.
Yeah, okay, but overall it was...
It was such a great match, though. Like, oh my god. Honestly, after I lost the dice roll, I was like, okay, this could go better, but fine. When I saw normal summoner, the net, I was like, oh my god, I've lost this. Like,
I know that. Mermail is such a great deck going first. So were you afraid of that when you saw that you lost the dice roll?
I was really afraid, but then I saw a Molchar me in my hand. So Fualos made things a bit better.
Right. We are going to go through a few highlights, but first of all, before the first highlight, you drew the Molcharmi Fuvalos, which is a great card against Mermail. When you saw the card, was it the savior?
I'm not going to lie, I don't think I know Mermail combo well enough to say, but looking at the way my opponent was playing his turn, I think so.
Okay, perfect. So maybe we'll go through a few highlights. The first one will be this one, because he decided to go Minstrel and to watch your hand. And we saw that you had 2 spell cards, 1 card of engine, and then you had a droplet. He decided to get rid of the droplet, and then he summoned the Moving Glacia that we just see right there.
Yeah,
at that
was
moment,
rough.
which card did you want to keep in your hand, basically?
The Goblin.
You wanted to keep the Goblin?
I literally had two Bone Party, 1 Goblin. I was like, come on, like take those 2, it's fine. I can have some engine play, but
the problem is that the Goblin got hit, so you were basically just waiting for the top deck.
yeah. In a nutshell, like I thought, okay, if I can top deck any name, maybe we have a chance, we can kind of push. But I drew an Ash Blossom, and I was like, oh god.
It was not the good name, right?
No.
So you lost this game, but then we went to the game 2, and that was such a turn from you. It was literally amazing. We can go to the clip number 2, where you just summoned the Proxy F Magician.
Yeah.
So, please, could you explain us why you are playing this card? For those who don't know Memento well, what is the goal?
So the reason that Proxy F is played is because Proxy F can do something really unique in that it can make Berthamut. The whole purpose behind the Berthamut line, what it does is it sets you up so that when you're doing the Creation King dump 3, you do not have to actually send the second copy of Creation King itself. What you can end up actually doing is basically setting up that Berthamut, you know, feed your Fiendsmith plays a bit more with the extra engraver, and then you're lined up so that on your opponent's turn you get to do the Berthamut, banish, summon the Creation King back, and then keep going.
Yeah, and that was really well executed. I've got some more questions about this turn because we saw you play the Horned Dragon that a lot of Memento players are just not playing right now. Could you explain us why you are still playing this card?
It's probably one of the biggest sets of interruptions the deck can provide you. So as you probably saw in the game, what the idea is, you want to get it summoned out, you want to pop it with a Bone Party, and then you can use obviously the Tri-Horn, pop 2 of their guys, pop your Sleepy. You don't actually lose anything by popping your Sleepy because it triggers, and then obviously send the Gatic, and then you just keep pushing from there.
Absolutely, and you won that game pretty easily because you went uninterrupted, which is pretty cool with the deck. And then we can go to the clip number 3 because we are going to the game 3 and then you are going second, but you decided to activate the new Molchami, the Meals. How good do you think the Molchami is against the Mermail specifically?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. Look, honestly, none of my side deck is dedicated to Mermail at all. I just looked at it and I was like, drawing cards ain't so bad. You know, he used a few things to summon back from grave. Let's hope this hits.
Yeah, and it worked pretty well, but then we saw the Coil account come to the party. Did you know the card?
No.
You didn't know the card?
No.
And that card is really amazing because it lets you summon multiple fish monsters from your deck, and it's really threatening you at that point. Yeah. When you saw all the cards coming from the deck, were you afraid of that?
A little bit, yeah. I just saw everything coming and I was like, this cannot be real. Like, E-Telly for 3.
Yeah, and it can even be for 4, but he wasn't playing the target. True. I can just tell you that now. But then we can go to the clip number 4, where he's playing Abyss Dweller, which is such a threat for your deck. Were you still confident when he was activating the card?
Only because I had a Talon in my hand, and he saved it for the main phase.
Yeah, totally. That was it the right decision for you to activate it in the main phase? And do you think it was a good decision to activate it maybe in the draw phase?
I think it was better to do it in the main phase because I wanted my talents to be live no matter what. And to be honest, as soon as I saw he didn't shotgun the Dweller, I said, I'm taking that chance.
Okay, perfect. And then finally, you managed to win the game. It was a hard game because you went to the end of the time. You managed to deal some damages, and then you took the victory, which leads you to a record of 8 victories and 1 loss for today. Yeah. So you are still up for tomorrow, where you will try to reach the top cut.
Yes,
are you confident?
Absolutely.
You're confident, so you will have a great night of sleep, of course, because you will need it, and then we will probably see you tomorrow again.
Probably, I hope so.
Well, thanks a lot for this interview. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you.
And take it away.